invaded by the biggest gang there is, there ain't a peep out of you.
Tonight, a post to TikTok about President Trump's immigration enforcement crackdown has a Southern California vice mayor at the center of controversy. Good evening and welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Claudine Wong. Some people think the vice mayor of Tahoe, Cynthia Gonzalez, used that post to put a call out to gang members to defend their neighborhoods from federal agents. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf reports that now deleted post may put her under investigation.
Whoever's the leadership over there, just get your members in order.
An explosive TikTok video now the center of a possible FBI investigation in LA County.
Don't be trying to claim no block, no nothing if you're not showing up right now.
For about 90 seconds, City of Cudahy Vice Mayor Cynthia Gonzalez calls on gang members to defend their territory from ICE.
They're all about territory, and this is 18th Street, and this is Torrance. You guys tag everything up, claiming hood. And now that your hood's being invaded by the biggest gang there is, there ain't a peep out of you.
The controversial video was shared last week and has since been deleted, along with these Facebook posts obtained by Fox before they were also taken down. The vice mayor writing, "I need a lawyer, the FBI just came to my house," saying it was about a TikTok video that I made that went viral, literally a TikTok, adding she believes this is a First Amendment rights issue.
And they're using our brown bodies to avoid the conversation that this administration is a failure.
Gonzalez seen earlier this month at a press conference with LA area mayors.
She's a personal friend. I know her. I know that she wouldn't call for violence.
Nearby Huntington Park Mayor Arturo Flores condemns Gonzalez's video.
Words are important, and so you have to be very careful about what you say and how you say it.
While now urging local police to verify identities of those believed to be federal agents.
So now am I able to operate with impunity? Am I able to tackle you right now?
Telling officers to pull over those without license plates for possible immigration operations.
If a caravan's coming in to our community, 4 or 5 vehicles, what I expect is for a vetting to happen of who those individuals are.
We're out there like fighting our turf, protecting our people, and like, where you at?
The vice mayor not returning our calls, but a spokesperson from the city of Cudahy shared this written statement with Fox 11, saying they're aware of recent comments made by Vice Mayor Cynthia Gonzalez on social media. The comments made by the vice mayor reflect her personal views and do not represent the views or official position of the city of Cudahy.
And that was Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf reporting. Now, the state of California says the deployment of National Guard troops in Los Angeles is depleting firefighting forces. Governor Gavin Newsom's office says that 8 of the Guard's 14 firefighting teams have been diverted to Los Angeles. That leaves National Guard fire crews at 40% capacity as wildfires pop up across the state. The state says this comes as CAL FIRE is ramping up its response, adding firefighters, fast-tracking vegetation projects, and expanding its aerial firefighting fleet. Seattle's Dwamish River Festival has been canceled, and that is due to ice concerns. Fox 13's Shira Matsuzawa reports festival organizers say people in the community fear federal agents could target that event.
Every summer, you'll find this: music, vendors, and a crowd gathered for the Dwamish River Festival. But not this year.
In light of recent events across the country and growing uncertainty for the safety and protection of our neighbors, we decided to cancel the festival this year.
The Dwamish River Community Coalition made the announcement on social media, saying they made the decision because of ice concerns and the safety and well-being of community members. Some say they're worried immigration enforcement officers could target the festival.
I was really sad, but also I understood why.
Lupine Miller is a librarian in the community. She says the festival celebrates the river and close-knit community as well as cultures in the area.
When things happen, when there's a catastrophe or when there's any kind of disruption or anything's unsafe, like the whole point of community is to come together and to help each other out, and however that looks is how it looks. And so if it looks like we're canceling this festival to keep our community safe, that's what we have to do.
Gary Snyder is an art dealer from Montana. He's in town for a project regarding the Dwamish River. and was surprised to hear about the festival cancellation. He says he often hears about ice concerns in Montana, but rarely sees it.
And to come into a city and realize what a strong effect it has. It's not just isolated, but there's a sense of fear and concern, and it's affecting everything and everybody. And it's unfortunate, and I wish that it wasn't happening.
In the meantime, community members tell Fox 13 they will figure out other ways to come together and support one another.
We look forward to a time in the future when we'll be able to come together and celebrate again in solidarity and strength.
Shira Matsuzawa, Fox 13 News.
Today, a federal appeals court ordered the Trump administration to facilitate the return of another man mistakenly deported to El Salvador. The federal appeals court in New York said Jordan Alexander Melgar Salmarone was deported May 8th due to a confluence of administrative errors. The ruling marks the fourth time this year the Trump administration has been ordered to bring someone mistakenly deported back to the U.S. The judges gave the administration 1 week to provide a plan for his return. And the fragile ceasefire between Iran and Israel appears to be holding at this hour, as Israel and the White House say that missile strikes were successful in destroying Iranian nuclear sites.
Iran will never rebuild its nuclear. From there? Absolutely not. That place is under rock. That place is demolished.
But sources say that U.S. airstrikes Saturday did not destroy Iran's nuclear capability, but only set it back a few months. The Trump administration canceled a scheduled intelligence briefing with Congress as Democrats accused the president of overstepping his authority.
Congress can declare war, and in this instance, to make sure that we are informed as constitutionally required and as statutorily is required through the War Powers Act.
The strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities were clearly within President Trump's Article 2 powers as Commander-in-Chief. It shouldn't even be in dispute.
President Trump said he will not allow Iran to develop nuclear weapons, but is not seeking a regime change. And tension in the Middle East has military families across the West wondering whether their loved ones will be called to action. Fox's Mithli Gubi shows us how the military community in Salt Lake City is coping with this uncertainty.
For some, serving our country is a calling.
It's just this passion that it's hard to really explain the love that you have for the service.
Ashley Warren is no stranger to the military.
As a military spouse, it's seeing your spouse in uniform, now seeing my kid in uniform. This is a community that's just not like any other.
But even in light of uncertainty like what's happening in the Middle East, she says it's nothing new.
We always joke in the military, nothing's official till the day after.
Francesca Suarez has been a military wife for 17 years.
We live on Hill Air Force Base. We've been stationed here 4 years.
She helps students and families in the Davis School District with this lifestyle. So when it comes to tense moments like what we're seeing around the world, Francesca says it can be scary.
When we see things on the news that, have heightened situations or escalations of some of our military interactions, it leads to a lot of those worries of my dad's home now or my mom's home now, but will they leave soon? Where will they go? When will they be back?
But there are ways that people can help military families.
I just encourage community members, ask, how are you? How can I help? Is there something I can do for you in your household? Is there changes coming up that, I might be able to assist with? And hopefully that military family will be so forthcoming to want to receive some assistance, whatever that might look like. Maybe it's just, a cup of coffee on a porch for 10 minutes.
Ashley works with other families at the Utah National Guard and knows they're ready to do what they need to so others can sleep soundly at night.
One thing can trickle down to whatever the need may be for our country. And the great thing is that our service members are prepared to answer calls should that even happen, and our families as well.
In Salt Lake City, I am Mithli Gubi, Fox 13 News.
And look for extensive coverage on the conflict in the Middle East on westcoastwrap.com. Our online coverage includes a look at what world leaders are saying about it. And a Washington state man who was charged with aiding the bomber of a fertility clinic in Southern California has died in federal custody. Daniel Park was accused of supplying chemicals to the Palm Springs clinic bomber who died in that May 17th explosion. The two men connected in fringe online forums over their shared beliefs against human procreation. Park was found unresponsive this morning at the Federal Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles. Officials have not said how he died. And we have an update on that deadly boat capsizing in Lake Tahoe this weekend. Tonight, bouquets of flowers sit outside of the Redwood City home of Terry Pickles and his wife Paula Bazinovich, who, along with their son Josh and Josh's uncle, were among 8 people who died in the accident. 4 of the family's friends also died, and 2 others survived that tragedy. The family and friends had gathered to celebrate Paula's 71st birthday and were caught off guard when conditions on that lake suddenly changed.
The waves were so large, 8 to 10 feet, that they started coming onto the boat. They stalled the motor out that then wouldn't allow them to move forward, and the boat filled up with water and capsized.
Family and friends of the victims are asking for privacy as they deal with the aftermath of this tragedy. And tonight, new challenges for the hundreds of firefighters in Utah. Coming up, what's complicating their efforts to slow the growth of massive wildfires.
And in weather, here's our live camera looking out toward the Oak Estuary, out toward San Francisco in the distance. Low clouds already back in this picture. We'll update the West Coast wrap forecast coming up.
I was afraid. I was scared to death. I thought I was going to die.
But now he's thriving after his cancer battle. Tonight, this motorcycle rider shares how he is turning a trek to Alaska into a mission to give others hope. The man accused of shooting an assault rifle at a Thurston County, Washington deputy, then fleeing the state, pleaded not guilty today. Prosecutors say deputies were trying to arrest Damian Madison on prior felony charges when the driver of the car he was in took off. And that's when they say Madison fired at the deputies out the window with an AR-15. That incident led to a multi-state manhunt that ended in Las Vegas. Madison is facing life in prison. His trial is set for August. And then more than a year after a Boeing plane's door plug flew off mid-flight over Oregon, the NTSB is coming forward with who's to blame for that incident. Fox 12's Julia Lopez reports the NTSB is also praising that plane's crew.
Chaos at 16,000 feet above Portland. After a year-and-a-half-long investigation, the National Transportation Safety Board blames Boeing for a door plug blown off of a 737 MAX just minutes after Alaska Airlines Flight 1282 took off from PDX.
Frankly, it's nothing short of a miracle that no one died.
The board credited the flight crew for keeping all 174 passengers safe during terrifying moments and making sure 4 unaccompanied minors, including a 6-year-old on his first flight, were accounted for, along with 2 lap children under 2. But it wasn't until landing that they learned no passengers were lost.
The mom was on the floor just screaming like agony, and she was shaking. I was holding her. I said, "What's going on? What's happening?" And she just says, "I was holding my son, and I think my son blew out."
The NTSB found 4 bolts were missing from the door plug, which had been sliding upward for over 150 flights before it blew off entirely. The bolts were removed during repairs, but never reinstalled, due to what investigators called unstructured record keeping at Boeing and an inexperienced workforce. The FAA also came under fire for what the board calls deficient oversight.
I firmly believe there's one reason Flight 1282 averted catastrophe, and one reason only: the crew.
The pilots relied on hand signals and yelling to communicate in the cockpit after just hearing the word "hole." Crew members struggled to open and untangle oxygen masks, and 2 flight attendants reported lightheadedness due to a lack of oxygen. The NTSB said FAA-guided training lacks the reality of depressurization. Boeing says in a statement, "We regret this accident and continue to work on strengthening safety and quality across our operations. We will review the final report and recommendations as we continue to implement improvements."
And that was Fox 12's Julia Lopez reporting. The NTSB is pushing hundreds of new safety recommendations for the FAA to implement over the next year. Among those is greater safety checks at every stage of plane production. And fire crews in Utah noticed a boost in activity today as they work to slow the spread of 2 wildfires. They say they are facing challenges, including gusty winds and dry conditions. And the France Canyon fire has grown about 3,000 acres since yesterday. The fire is burning in the Dixie National Forest, which is about 350 miles north of the Utah-Arizona state line. People in southern Utah are being warned to expect temporary power outages tomorrow. Crews say they need to shut off power to conduct a controlled burn near a major transmission line in the fire zone. A lightning strike started this fire on June 11th. More than 25,000 acres of rough terrain have burned. Flames are at about 10% contained. And the Forsyth fire is growing about 50 miles west of the France Canyon fire, and while it is much smaller, it has already burned at least 13 homes near Pine Valley. A lightning strike started that fire on June 19th, and there is no containment in that firefight. And people across the Southwest can expect temperatures to climb this week. You're taking a live look at Las Vegas, where it has been cooler than usual for this time of year over the past few days. Let's bring in KTVU Chief Meteorologist Mark Tamayo, who is tracking the region's upcoming shift in the weather and other conditions across the West. Mark?
Hi there, Claudine. Yeah, some temperatures definitely trending up across parts of the West Coast, including Las Vegas, as you mentioned. You can see tomorrow, not too bad, 100 degrees, but the heat builds Thursday, Friday, and that will continue into the weekend. So it looks like this stretch of below average temperatures will soon be coming to an end. Take a look at some of the highs from this afternoon. Las Vegas today, actually 94 degrees. Los Angeles, 69. Up towards San Jose in the Bay Area, 71. San Francisco, 59. And Redding in the upper 90s today. Right now, as you can see, right now it's 100 degrees in Phoenix. San Francisco has cooled out to 58. It's a warm weather pattern for Portland and Seattle. Seattle today topped out, or actually right now, 74 degrees, but a warm afternoon close to 80 degrees. We'll show you the Seattle camera coming up in a second. Now, here is the overall weather picture. A big trough, as you can see, over parts of Southern California. And we have some showers and thunderstorms out toward parts of New Mexico and right around the Rockies out toward the Denver area. And up in the Pacific Northwest, the clouds are marching in. There's the possibility of some light showers for tonight into tomorrow morning. So this was a scene in Seattle today, showing you some high cloud cover out there. A temperature right around 80 degrees. So warm afternoon up there. In the Bay Area, San Francisco kind of stuck in the 50s all day long, only in the upper 50s earlier today. And then, of course, still talking about some heat in Phoenix. 105 degrees this afternoon, looking out toward all the blue skies and, of course, the very hot temperatures. Here's the game plan for tomorrow. Seattle definitely still picking up some clouds out there, and also out toward Denver, the possibility of some showers and thunderstorms. A mild forecast for the Bay Area, but warming as you do work your way inland. Hot temperatures for Phoenix and some warm conditions down in Southern California. Here's the forecast model. Definitely the clouds moving in up in the Pacific Northwest and the possibility of a light shower in Seattle. And that's just about it, as you can see here for the Bay Area. Some low clouds and fog in the morning. Out toward Phoenix, clear skies, and there's that thunderstorm threat out toward Denver, but definitely some clouds back in their forecast. Here's the numbers. Here's a look at the numbers for tomorrow, as you can see up and down the West Coast. Concord in the Bay Area, mid-80s. Down in Southern California, upper 80s to the 90s. And Tucson, Arizona tomorrow, 102 degrees. So here is the plan over the next 3 days. We'll keep the clouds in the forecast for Seattle. San Francisco, clouds in the morning becoming partly cloudy, mainly some 70s for Southern California. Denver, those readings in the 80s with that chance of a thunderstorm. And still talking about that heat, we have the heat building in Las Vegas, and pretty much the same story in the Phoenix area as temperatures do trend up as we head toward the weekend.
And curiosity got the best of one dog in Colorado. Coming up, see how a large team moved in to save him from a deep trench. And talk about a road trip of a lifetime. See how one man's push to raise money for cancer research is putting him on 2 wheels to Alaska.
Raise what it takes to do a clinical trial. And you know, we're not talking 50,000 or 100,000. We're talking like in that bigger number, like a 1.2 million.
Well, one man hopes a 3,800-mile motorcycle ride to Alaska is going to raise awareness about pancreatic cancer and money for research. Dan Winkleman started his ride June 13th in Wisconsin. This map on the Sina Magowitz's Foundation's website shows how he is on the verge of crossing into the western state of Wyoming. Fox's Brandon Cruz spoke with Winkleman about a trek that's turned into a mission of hope, resilience, and impact.
Yeah, this is cool. Whoa, you have armor.
Surrounded by family, friends, and the staff at the Medical College of Wisconsin, Dan Winkleman is beginning a very long and difficult journey.
It's a little bit unnerving, and if I was completely honest, there are times I wake up in the middle of the night going, what the heck did I get myself into?
With his two sons right behind him, he's riding his motorcycle from MCW to Anchorage, Alaska, a 3,800-mile trek.
Why did it take this so we could take a trip together? I don't know. I'll ask them later. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting.
Andy, his oldest son, will be with him for the entire ride and was the one who created the plan from start to finish.
When he was in high school, he actually drove there. And so I always wanted to recreate this road trip. I always thought it'd be this ultimate road trip with my dad to retrace the steps to when he went back up there.
The ride, which they're calling Hope on the Road, will have many twists and turns and most likely other unexpected bumps in the road.
We have the best plan that we can, and when the plan goes awry, which it probably will, we will deal with it as it comes, a detail at a time and a day at a time, and I think that's how we'll approach it.
But it won't be the most difficult journey his dad has endured.
You know, I was afraid. I was scared to death. I thought I was going to die.
While in Asia doing mission work, Dan was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
We were frightened. You know, my wife and I were frightened with the diagnosis.
The battle was difficult, but Dan persevered, overcoming obstacles and fighting his way to becoming cancer-free.
When I was in my deepest, darkest place, somebody cared about me. They cared for me. And I couldn't care for myself.
6 years cancer-free, Dan is back in the fight against the disease.
And I kind of heard this voice, you know, in my heart and in my mind. Go ahead. Ride that motorcycle all the way to Alaska for pancreas cancer research. And I said, man, that is a great idea. With God's help, I'm believing we're going to raise what it takes to do a clinical trial. And, you know, we're not talking 50,000 or 100,000. We're talking like in that bigger number, like a 1.2 million. We're going all the way because we want to see 1.2 million come in to fund that clinical trial that's going to make it possible for somebody else to hold their grandson, to love their families.
Physically, emotionally, and financially, his family, friends, and the staff at MCW are with him again, helping him get to the finish line.
And I keep thinking if we can raise this money, people might get the diagnosis before it's too late.
In Wauwatosa, Brandon Cruz, Fox Sports.
And you can track Dan Winkleman's journey on our website. Head over to westcoastwrap.com to follow his journey and learn more about his fundraising effort. All right, finally tonight, it was a team effort to save a dog in a tight spot. Check out this video. This is newly released video, and it shows how first responders, animal control workers, and a dog rescue organization freed a Neapolitan Mastiff who fell 8 feet into a trench. You can see them working hard there. The dog, named Carl, wandered from his foster home in Parker, Colorado on Sunday, and then he was discovered trapped in that trench yesterday. Construction crews, as you saw, brought in that heavy equipment to help dig out the dog and doing it without hurting him. And Carl was taken to an emergency veterinarian, and he is expected to be okay. All right, thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you watching West Coast Wrap. Have a great night.